What's up? It's Dr. Will James with Dr. Will James Reports. Today I want to go over probably one of the worst videos I've ever seen online. This is extremely terrible and it's extremely detrimental and harmful. It's from the Madame Noir podcast. I believe that's what they call it. And they call it Listen to Black Women. The egregious things that they are talking about is just so ridiculous, and I'm not going to waste too much time because I'm going to break it down as we watch the video. But the over sexualization of black women coming from black women is ridiculous. It's kind of ironic that the title is Listen to Black Women, and these are exactly the black women you shouldn't listen to. And I hope no other black women in the world are listening to these black women. If you want to listen to black women, listen to Shazarzad Ali. Listen to um Dr. Frances Cress Wilson. There's another lady, a young lady on Instagram, Dr. Sarah Fontenot. I believe that's how you say her name. Listen to women like that rather than listening to these women on this panel that are just ridiculous. This is egregious. So let's just get into this. This is ridiculous. What they want someone to listen to.
If we think about how we learned about sex,
Yeah.
who told you how to have sex? Not just safe sex, but pleasurable sex.
Yeah. Not my mama.
I'm like, yeah. Welcome to the new season of Listen to Black Women. I'm L'Oreal, and let me tell you something. I don't think y'all are ready for this panel here, right? It's been quite a riot, and we didn't even get started yet. Jessie Woo is here with us.
It still took me years to be comfortable with sex.
Danielle Young is here with us.
It's just so sad that women have this shame
Yep.
when it comes to sex.
Now, Jerry Johnson is in the building. Okay.
I'ma do whatever I feel in the moment that I feel it.
And
Terrible.
last, Miss Tori Hart.
I used to sneak and do a lot of stuff because I didn't feel like I could talk to my mom.
We all love.
But another thing is they got Tori Harvey on the show, the ex-wife of comedian not I said Tori Harvey, Tori Hart, the ex-wife of Kevin Hart on the show, who's multi-millionaire. I believe his net worth now is around $400 million. When you listen to her speak, it becomes more clear as to why he left her. You know, he upgraded, his new wife, looks better. But I've never heard his new wife talk like the way this lady is going to be talking. And it lets you know that it's not just, the exterior as to why he left her. Her interior is ugly. Like it's disgusting, but I'll let it play.
Of the show, Harlem. You do your thing in there, and you play Ty, who is very into her sexuality, right? And she's free. Is this something that when you saw the character that you were like, okay, I can relate to this?
No, I was very much like, one, I love that it's good writing. When they were asking, like, how comfortable do you feel, like, with your nipples out, or how comfortable you feel? And I'm like, I got this body once. I'm gonna be 25 once. If there's any time I'm gonna have these titties out, it's now. You know what I mean? But for me, I think the biggest part was to try to showcase as much as I had power over real queer sex. Like, I love making love to women. I love when women
And it
feel
shows.
pleasure.
It
You know what
shows
I
on the
mean?
show, too.
It was also important.
So I talk about this in my book. This LGBTQIA stuff, these lesbian women, detrimental. Something happened to her in her upbringing. It's a good chance of it. I go over the data. I talk about all of this stuff. This is not okay. This is not cool. That does not service the black community for there to be same-sexual relationships. That doesn't service the black community. I always say, within the black community, we can't look at it the way other racial groups look at things. You have to look at what is in the best interest of the black community. What does our history say? This ain't it.
important for me to show that femininity in the sexuality as well, and that versatility, because I'm verse.
But we're more hesitant into showing more of ourselves because we are judged, especially Black women. Because if we see Taylor Swift sleeping with this man and next week she got another man and singing about another man, I ain't never really hear her being called.
So I don't like what they're doing here. They're trying to bring race into this when, first of all, if you're a 304, you're a 304. No one likes a 304. Men don't like 304s of any racial categories. I don't like how they're trying to flip it and make it like, oh, when other racial groups, when white women are, out there and they're being 304s and they're being overly sexual, there's no problem with it. But when Black women do it, it's a problem. No, when anyone does it, it's a problem. But that's another thing. Stop comparing yourself to women of other race. Let's just look at what's better for the Black community and what's better for the next generation. You guys are supposed to be some grown women up there on that panel in your late 30s, and some of them are in their 40s, and you sitting up there talking about 304 activity to the next generation as if it's okay. It's not okay. And they're going to talk about, oh, how it shouldn't be shamed. No, it should be shamed. And shame on every so-called Black woman on this panel. They are ridiculous. Just ridiculous. I don't like this comparison. I don't like what they're trying to do. They're trying to bring race into it so that they can seem like they're right in some way. This is a whole liberal think tank thing that they got going on. It's ridiculous.
A hoe like Lori Harvey gets called a hoe.
Right.
Yeah.
Who I only might have seen. We don't even know she's sleeping with some of these men.
Right.
We don't know what any of these people are
Right.
doing. But it's very sad that it has to always come
Well, I
to the
said
point.
it, be our own.
Yeah, you gotta
You
hide.
gotta change that.
Yeah.
Also, though, I think white women just get this privilege that Black women or Hispanic women, other women just will never have. White women are revered. Like, there's a whole culture around protecting the white woman.
So many Black women have died.
Okay.
And Black
men have died behind the
protection of Black
sexuality of a white woman and the protection of, the sexuality of that white woman.
And now
Okay. What they just did there is a crime. That's ridiculous what they just said. First of all, what Black woman has died over the sexuality of a white woman? Please bring up some sources and some people. They just did a logical fallacy. They just tried to equate situations like what happened with Emmett Till and what would happen to Black men when Black men were falsely accused of, doing things like SA to white women, false accusations against Black men, which goes to Black men being overly sexualized and Black men being looked at as predators and things of that nature. Oftentimes, like too often, when they were innocent, and then they were harmed. They tried to equate that to there being some sort of narrative that white women get the privilege of being 304s or being overly sexual and being hoes and being allowed to do so, and then women of other racial groups don't get to do that. That's just ridiculous. The two do not come together. And shame on all of them for trying to do that. What are you talking about?
they all look like light-skinned Black women to me.
They all look like,
I can't tell.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift is the last white woman alive. Sorry.
Now, Jesse, you came up with a term. Zozo?
Yeah.
Oh,
Zozo. Tell me what Zozo, with the Zozo.
Zozo is a penis.
Whoa.
It's a
Zo.
penis, but we say it in Creole.
Okay.
Like when I first started making content, I did talk a lot about like sex. But when I would talk about it, I would talk about either like past experiences or experiences from friends. And even then it was seen as, oh my God, like, why are you talking about this? I'm like, we're all getting, ain't we? And so yeah, in my culture, it was really horrible to say it. Like, it was horrible, like as a Haitian girl, to acknowledge that you have had sex. I started having sex at 19, and I didn't tell my mom. Like, she kept talking to me like I was a virgin. And I was like, you know, Mom, I had sex. What? I come from a very religious background.
Right.
And so I remember like I fell into a deep depression, and I went into a revival my friend was having at a Jamaican church. I'm like, you know, I'm going to hell. I'm dying. It's over for me.
Damn.
And he came to me and he said, Miss, God is telling me to tell you to forgive yourself. He's already forgiven you. I adopted a new outlook on it, but it still took me years to be like comfortable with sex.
I think that, like, especially with your Haitian background, I have a Southern American background, and it has a lot of shame attached to sex, especially for women. And like, and growing up in my household, there was 3 of us sisters and 3 brothers, and so
There should be a shame attached to just being out there, just recklessly having sex, for men and women, but especially women. Yes, there is a double standard. You're a woman. You are more likely to be SA'd. There's more danger that comes with being a female in the category, in the realm of sexual contact. So if you're in a situation and you're about to do something with someone and you change your mind and they're not with it, can you defend yourself? If a male is in the situation and he changes his mind and the female wants to do something, he's more likely to be able to defend himself. So that's what I mean by that. So you have to be careful when the situations you place yourself in. So yeah, there should be shame attached to it. You shouldn't be out here just giving your body to everybody and doing whatever you want.
it was never told to the boys to, you know, to treat women well or to be respectful. The conversations were given to us,
Of course.
to not be sluts, to not open our legs,
Yeah.
to basically to not have sex at all.
Yeah.
So similar to y'all, I didn't start having sex.
No, they said to not be sluts, not open your legs. Not having sex is a different situation. I'm sure if you would tell your mom, like, yo, I plan on having sex when, you know, I meet the right guy after I've been in a relationship for some time. And, you know, maybe we decide that, you know, we're going to be married and we're going to have kids. We're going to start a family. I'm pretty sure the people who spoke to you about this would have been like, oh, yeah, that's a good time to have sex. Not just go out there and just have sex because you feel like it and you're horny.
Until I was 20. And I basically wanted to do so because I felt, you know, I didn't feel pretty. I wanted to be wanted. And so
Look at her low self-esteem. It's coming out as they talk more. It comes out. Remember, I always tell you guys, look at the signs, the tattoos, the colored hair, the long nails. She has all of that. She's extremely overweight. Low self-esteem, everything. It's all coming out. All right. These people have been through things and they're not healed. So they act out and they do things that show that they're not healed. No black woman should be listening to these unhealed women.
I started having sex as a hoe. Like I just, you know, just was out here in college
You're
and
a
just
hoe.
spreading it wide
And laying it low.
and laying it low.
But most people do that, so
Listen.
don't feel bad.
Well, no,
The lady next to her said nice. What? The lesbian woman in the middle with the short blonde hair, they looking like twins except for their weight. And then Miss Tori Hart, Kevin Hart's ex-wife, she said, don't feel bad. Most women start out like that. No, you should feel bad.
no, I don't feel bad. It was great. Had a great time.
Sitting here with a
Wonderful.
smile.
It's just so sad that women, especially black women in my experience, have this shame and this like
There they go, trying to make it about women and trying to make it about race.
barrier of religion
Yep.
when it comes to sex.
Yeah.
And the thing is that the religion factor takes the pleasure out of it.
Exactly.
Because it's like almost immediately I'm already
You're
thinking
guilty.
about
You gotta fall
I'm
down
going
at
to
the
hell.
altar.
Yeah, now I have to go repent. Now I have to go.
And in Europe, they're
These are women who were not raised properly. See, if you grow up in the right household where your religion is poured out properly, you become absolved in your religion and you become like a part of it and you look at it as a positive. they're rebuking it, they're rebelling, they're going against the way they were raised because it wasn't laid out in a healthy manner. They probably didn't see it practiced in a healthy way. So that's why they're expressing what they're expressing.
They're having a conversation so early in America. Most people have their first time in places like cars, whereas in Europe, most of the time it's in your house, and your mom is like, here's the protection. In America, if you like somebody has a condom, right, when you're younger, it's like, ew, why do you have a condom? Are you having sex?
Yeah.
But in Europe,
So here we got, they say, listen to black women, and here they keep going, comparing themselves to Europe. Why would they be comparing themselves to Europe of all the continents? Why wouldn't they say in Africa? Like, why aren't they saying that then if that's the case? They keep talking about how white women have it differently, but then you go compare the sexual experience in Europe as to something that like is a positive to you. Like, oh, in Europe, the parents are right there watching them do it in the house. In America, American culture, they sneak and do it in like in a car or something for the first time. They're contradicting themselves.
it's like, why don't you?
Like we
You
should,
need
yeah.
to, you know, and so the culture is just different. The way we talk about it is surrounded in so much shame that we grow up being like, and it's not until we get in our 30s when we're like, actually, I gotta figure out what the fuck this is.
Can I add
And
one
what I
last
like.
thing too? Have y'all moms ever talked to y'all pleasurefully about sex? Like I realized, like I remember one time my mom was like, you know, when you get married, you can live with your husband. We can all live together because like in Haiti it's so communal. You live on top of each other. And I was like, no, like what about when we have sex and I'm screaming?
Oh.
And she's like, why are you screaming during sex? You know, right? And I'm like, because I'm coming.
Yeah.
Oh, you said that to your mom?
Yes.
Oh,
And
no, I
it's
still wouldn't say that to my
I
mom.
realized that coming was not a priority for my mother.
Yes.
And my mother had 4 kids.
And they came once.
And they came once.
But Tori, that makes me think about you.
First of all, you don't know if your mom did or did not orgasm. And that ain't none of your business. And I don't see why you would want to have that conversation with your mother. Just no respect. Look at them up there with their colorful hair, fake hair, overly long extensions. Ridiculous, not classy at all. Nasty butt. Your mother was starting a family and she wanted to reproduce. Now, every time a sexual encounter obviously doesn't have to be for reproduction, but you just out there just seeking an orgasm, that's an issue.
Because you have a daughter.
Right.
So do you talk to her? She's not having sex yet, as
You
far
have
as you
a
know.
daughter.
But
We are very open.
And you
We
talk
we
about-
talk about everything. I'm the mom that I get to the nitty gritty. We
Yeah,
talk
she
about
ain't
that. I
having no
don't-
sex yet.
and
So-
was that ever a difficulty for you? Because you
Never.
didn't have that, right?
Well,
You
no,
said your mother.
my grandmother was a minister. 2 aunts are ministers. 3 uncles are ministers.
Ah,
So
Your house was the church.
Yeah.
that's why I moved far away from all of them to Los Angeles, because I was like, I don't like this. It feels like a cult in a sense. Yes, I used to sneak and do a lot of stuff because I didn't
yeah,
feel like
that
I could talk to my mom.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. So therefore, my daughter, like anything she wants to do, I'm like, come to me first, talk to me. Anything, I will not judge you. It's an open door for you.
The crazy thing is, I had a young mom, and I was always like, la 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 la.
She was trying to talk
She
to
was
you.
talking about, oh my God, she was always. And my mom
Ridiculous.
worked at the bar. Oh, she was a
your
hot
mom was- yes.
girl. And so my sisters and my cousins was all f***ing and stuff like that. I was like, I'm not gonna have sex until I'm married. I'm not. I put that on myself. I'm like,
Yeah.
moms are supposed to be in the house cooking and doing. She was outside. My mom was on cops twice. This bitch was out.
So, look, listen to her dysfunctional family, her dysfunctional upbringing, which is why she's scarred. Her sisters and her cousins were out there having sex. Her mom wasn't in the house. Her mom worked at the bar. Her mom was on the TV show Cops twice. And now this lady is overly sexual. She's bisexual. It's ridiculous. She's going to say that her mom had 7 kids with 7 different men. This is why she is the way she is. When you dig deep, you see where the scars come from, the wounds, and why these people are the way they are. Don't listen to these black women. This is terrible. This is ridiculous.
Okay.
No, she wasn't on Cops
Swear to
Right.
God.
Not on cops twice.
Let's host the milk for real.
Right.
And they're toasting to that.
Yes. And
What?
she has in 2019 she passed away, right? But before she did, I feel like we were mending or getting closer to each other.
Right.
But I love that woman because I feel like I am as bold as I am
love
because
that.
of
Because
her.
of that.
Because of Milk.
I don't have that shame and I feel so
Yeah.
accepting of people because of that.
But it
That's
all
beautiful.
makes sense though. Even like when I think about myself, my mother's an ordained minister. So when I sit here and listen to what everybody's saying, we all have that common ground where church was in our household. So maybe that's where our shame towards each other.
Sure.
So church was in your household, but was discipline and guidance in your household. There's a difference. There's a difference between church and the Bible. There's a difference between what, Christianity in the Bible. There's a difference between all of these different phases in the Bible. The Bible has strict principles that many people don't adhere to. And this is why they don't raise their children properly in it. And then you get the results is the end product is these 5 women up, so-called women up here. I don't know what to call them. This is just ridiculous. So they weren't raised properly in the Bible. Probably grew up celebrating Halloween, Christmas, all of these holidays you're not supposed to celebrate according to the Bible. Probably were taught that like, oh, it doesn't matter what you do, God can forgive you, no discipline. People who are raised like that continue to repeat the same negative behaviors. And they probably go up around people who they saw go to church every Sunday, but then they were overly sexual, out doing whatever they wanted to do, and still going to church. Because we all know those people. They whoring Monday through Saturday. They selling drugs Monday through Saturday. They done shot 2-3 people Monday through Saturday, but then they go to church Sunday and then everything is all good. That's the problem.
Starts coming out.
Like you can't shame people out of being sexual.
Yes, you can.
Like that's just not. It's not gonna work.
Do you think it's necessary to have a whole phase throughout
Oh,
your
yeah.
life?
Yes.
Within your
Yeah.
life?
Yes.
do. I agree on that.
I had been with this guy.
Oh my God. She just asked a panel full of these old women. And Tori Hart, she's 46 years old. And they all said it's necessary to have a whole phase. And you want someone to listen to black women? This is why black women get laughed at when this is the representation on social media, on platforms. They should not be allowed to speak. This should be canceled. This is ridiculous. This is so detrimental to spread this to the next generation that it's necessary to have a whole phase where you out there just sleeping with people for no damn reason. This is ridiculous.
Do you think it's necessary to have a whole phase throughout
Oh,
your
yeah.
life?
Yes.
Within your
Yeah.
life?
Yes.
do. I agree on that.
I had been with this guy for 5 years, so I wasn't really having sex with a lot of people. And so for one summer, I said, I'm a dude.
She said, I had been with this guy for 5 years, so I wasn't really having sex with a lot of people. You should have been only having sex with one person for 5 years, unless it wasn't a monogamous relationship, and that's the type of time y'all was on. But she said, I was with this guy for 5 years. She didn't say I was in an open relationship for 5 years. Like, what type of freaky stuff was y'all doing? That's ridiculous. So you got to catch the stuff when people talk. You were in a relationship for 5 years. I wasn't really having sex with a lot of people. It should have been one person you was having sex with. But listen to her nasty story.
Do whatever I feel in the moment that I feel it. There was this time where I was at this bar having this meeting with this girl, and this bartender was just giving me the eyes and just kept giving me these blueberry mojitos or something. And the bar was kind of empty. So I was like, I'm gonna go use the bathroom. And I'm like, there's no toilet paper in the bathroom. There was. But I was like, there's no toilet paper in the bathroom. And so he's like, oh, okay, I got you. And so
This is a good story, y'all.
And so
Not a good story.
he come to get me the toilet paper, and we end up in the freezer. In the freezer?
So her nasty self, She was in a relationship for 5 years, leading some guy on to think that, she wanted to settle down or whatever. Then after getting out of that relationship, she's like, "Oh, let me have a whole phase. Let me have a little fun. Let me do whatever I want to do." See, this is the problem. This is why women like this make it worse for the next female that men come across, because we can sense it when you've had a whole phase. Even when you lie about your body count and you say you've only been with 7 or 8 men and stuff like that, we can sense it. We know you're lying. Especially men like myself who can read the room and we read the signals. We can tell. So you made that guy that you were with probably had to take you out on a few dates and all of that stuff to, before you guys were sexually active. But then you're just out at a bar and some guy is flirting with you and giving you eye contact and some energy, and you take him to the freezer. Y'all ended up in the freezer having sex. Just ridiculous. She didn't mention of whether a condom, whether protection was used or not, which probably it wasn't, because he's at work. He probably didn't have it on him. She probably didn't have one on her. So that's just reckless. This is ridiculous. This is nasty. This is a grown woman, 30-something plus years old, just talking about this on a platform for millions of people to see. Imagine the conversations that they have in private. Ridiculous. And talking about listen to black women. Y'all not talking about nothing productive. Y'all not talking about being educated, educating the next generation of black women, black girls to be educated, be good women, carry themselves with class and grace and elegance in public, and to dress a certain way, not be provocative, not be ratchet. Y'all could be saying stuff to benefit the black community. Everything up here is just negative. It's so detrimental. This is ridiculous. This is disgusting. One of the worst videos I've ever seen.
Freezer.
I'll cheers to that. I guess I never had a whole face then, because what in the...
And they're cheering to that. She just said, "Oh, cheers to that." And look at this big girl smiling. And she thinks it's okay to just be that big. Talking about, oh, body positivity and you can't shame people. No, you should be fit for health reasons. Let's not play games. She's not healthy. This is disgusting. Look at them smiling like, oh, she had a good time. No, that's ridiculous. If all of our women carried themselves like this, community in shambles. Ridiculous.
I'm gonna have sex in the freezer if I want to have sex with the freezer.
Sometimes.
You know what I mean? Now I could get down. I got a sex positive family. Okay. I come from a sex positive mother. I'm one of 7. She got all different daddies. Okay. Trying to make it crazy.
Oh,
Period.
okay.
Now,
So she thinks she comes from a positive family because her mother has 7 different men. Because sex was okay to just do whenever. She thinks she comes from a sex positive family. That's a sex negative family. You come from trauma. You come from damage. You are damaged. That's not positive. That's a negative. 7 children from 7 different men. That's horrible. That's not a healthy household. That's not a healthy woman. Your mom was hoeing around, sleeping around, letting 7 men impregnate her. It's ridiculous. That's negative.
Why your mama catch a straight like that?
she know what it is.
I feel like it's totally opposite for me, in the sense, like, I really do agree that women should have a whole phase. Every time I've tried to have a whole phase, I always run into somebody with a very small penis.
Oh
Every
my
time.
God, that's
Damn.
awful.
And it's just like, I feel like that's
You a
God.
house, so move on.
Yeah, no, I can't. I can't. I remember last year, literally, I tried it back to back. I was like, okay, Lord. And
that's
mind
it.
you, I was down in Jamaica.
Jesse,
You don't have no small penis in Jamaica.
Jesse, we want
So Jamaica is, I can tell you, you got to watch these women who go on these trips to Jamaica. That's where they're going to get their little hoeing on. That's like Jamaica is becoming like it's becoming like Colombia or Dominican Republic for men. They go there and they just looking to get some hoeing on. They're looking to Stella got her groove back type of situation going on when they go down there, which is just disgusting. Because these are the same women who will meet a man in America and then they will try to act like, oh, who you think I am? I'm not some hoe. I'm not some 304. You got to take me out first. But then they'll be down there in Jamaica just looking to get their back blown out. Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Want to know? Jazzy, we want to know.
How
we
small?
want to know.
Yeah, how
Oh,
small?
He was too small.
And see, I had a whole
Fall in love
phase
with
later
Asian.
on in life because I got married super young, and so it's
This lady is 46 years old and a mother talking about she had a whole phase later in life because she got married young. How old is young? How old did she get married? She got married in 2003. That's 22 years ago. All right, it's 2005. That's 22 years ago. She's 46. So she got married at 24. How is that young? How is 24 young for marriage? What? That's not young. That's the age at which a woman should be getting married, between 24 and 30. She's 46. She got married 22 years ago. And this lady is about to be 47 February 28th. So she was probably 25, depending on which part of 2003 it was. How is 25 too old to get married? This is why the next generation of women coming up don't want to get married. And they probably won't get married because after you experience that whole phase, you're going to be damaged. And then the good man that you find isn't going to want to deal with your damage.
like it's kind of hard to hoe at 40. You know
No,
what
it
I mean?
ain't.
Like it's a little harder to hoe.
I know a lot of hoes out there.
Come to Atlanta, Tori.
Because I don't. I'm
Right.
saying,
All the hoes is 40 and over.
it's just harder. Like the pickings is slimmer. You know.
But I want to hear about your whole phase.
I'm in the middle of it.
Ew.
Make some noise.
Ew, nasty stuff.
We gotta support our sister. Come on now.
No, I love a good hoe phase. I'm a believer
Ridiculous.
of after breakup hoe phase.
Nice.
That's and this, look at her. Look at this one. Keep saying nice to everything that's negative. Just damaged. This is ridiculous. Damaged. You love a good hoe phase. Is ridiculous. And on another video, the big girl was the one talking about she wants to get married at some point. Which one is it? That's a contradiction. You love a good hoe phase, but you want to get married at some point. See, these women do this. They're acting out because no one wants to marry them. And it's because we see all the red flags. We see that you're not wifey material. We know that you a hoe. You try to hide it, but it comes out. There's signals. There's red flags that just pop out. And any man who sees this, like, forget about it. And then also, I always say this. A lot of women will never have, let me put it like this to say this. Let me say this. A lot of women will never have true love because the relationship starts off on a lie. I'm gonna say that again. A lot of women will never have true love because the foundation of the relationship starts off with a lie. A lot of these women will never have a man to truly love all of them. When I say all of them, I mean loving your past, your present, and then still wanting a future with you. So true love is when you can tell a man like, yo, I had a whole phase, I was this, that in the past, and the man says, you know what? That was your past. I still love you. You mine now. You think you're gonna go tell a man, especially the quality of men, that a quality of a man that they want? They all want a man that makes a certain amount of money, over 6 figures. He has to look a certain way, all of this stuff. You think you're gonna tell that type of man that you had a whole phase or whole phases and your body count is whatever it is, and you think he's just gonna be okay with that? No, you're gonna lie, and that's why you won't have true love. The man will be loving what he thinks you are rather than what you truly are.
Yeah, especially that. That was my before this one. Which was really great, which was great. I booked a solo trip, but at
See?
one point I had gone and got a massage and I came back to the bar and then I turn around and there's this like Winston from the house.
Winston.
Like muscular, chocolate, white teeth, everything was working. And I wasted literally no time. From the time that we met, it was until the time I was walking with him back to my room, it was maybe 15 minutes.
Wow. I love
That's to me is how that's
She says, I love that to what this lady just said. This lady just so reckless. She says she met a man, and 15 minutes after meeting him, they were going to have sex. So never mind STDs and all of this stuff out there from sexual encounters. Let's just say that they wrapped it up and they didn't kiss. They just did, basic stuff, whatever. 15 minutes. So that's how easy you are. That's what you're worth, and that's what you want to promote to the youth. That's ridiculous. That's disgusting because she has low self-esteem and she was happy that a man that she found attractive found her attractive because it doesn't happen often. So she just went out there and did that. Disgusting. And again, still the same type of woman who would meet a man in America, and when he's presenting himself as, husband material, she would say, oh, well, you got to take me out first and you got to wine and dine me. Fellas, don't fall for it. Do not fall for it.
It's funny we talk about this because you said something on your page, Jerry, that was like, you want to be the gigolo. Don't let me misquote
I
you.
remember that
The
shit.
gigolo of helping women learn the pleasure.
So,
is that what it is?
Nice that you mentioned that. There's a lot of women who have not experienced pleasure.
Yup.
Right? It's something about giving women the power to know, hey, this is not actually what I like. And also the language to say,
Oh, yeah.
actually, if you go down and you go this way, that's gonna get me right where I'm going. But if you never are with a person that you're comfortable enough exploring that, or even have had the chance to have somebody open the conversation up, you're not gonna know that.
Yep.
And so let me come suck your tell you what's working. You know?
Oh, so every woman though, because you said
Look at this nasty. Look, tell you, that's just disgusting. So you're going to be going around just looking on every female. Just nasty. Her laughing with her mouth wide open. Nasty, unhealed human, this creature. I don't even want to watch any more of this. That's just deplorable. That's disgusting. They had got the nerve to say, listen to black woman. Now, I don't believe that that's the vast majority of black women out there who view things like that. That's just terrible. That's ridiculous. I hope they don't. I actually want to hear from black women in the comments. Please go in the comment section and tell me how disgusted you are with them, because that is ridiculous. I'm signing off. Y'all can let me know what y'all think in the comments. That's just ridiculous.